check to see if the stream is up. I hope it is. Might be a little early here. So we're going to talk a lot about the latest happenings, big things that I'm doing. Everything's now moving into C++, based upon the survey I did a few weeks ago. Better responses as well. People like their Python, but when you be taken seriously, you need to be on C++, it seems. At least that's the perception. Looks like I am working. Hooray, hooray, hooray. Okay, give me a second here. I'm just waiting to go through an ad. But I do see the stream. Yes, we are working. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. All right, so let's talk about what we've gone through. I have now a new app that I just created. I've shown it on my last long form video. Right now, this format with me just talking here is better response on social media, so there's no demos on this tonight. Anyways, let's talk about what's been happening. So if you've been following me, I've been working with a lot of Python lately, last couple of months with this analysis. I can run orders through, market data, and everything's all good. And it works perfectly, really good, in fact. So on top of that, I wanted to take these trading bots, and just so you know, I had a collection of over 3,600 as of Friday. Maybe 10% of them might be profitable, 1% might be deployable. So a lot of them are fairly useless for long-term trading. And those are all in Python. So what I've done, if you've seen that video on Friday I put out, this new C++ app, they can now transpile, that's the word, usually computer science, from Python to C++. That was working no problem. Can work with Rhythmic, a server, to interface with the Rhythmic R Pro, Trader Pro software that's needed on Windows and Windows only. That's why it's all built in Windows. So that's been working pretty good until I started trying to merge. I had to end up merging the two big functions into one. So I'm still kind of working through that. It's a very expensive process, but it's working pretty good. Anyways, let's talk about what else is going on. So right now I have tried out a lot of the big, more recent models for code generation. Hey, CNN, all good. Thank you. Already checked that. So I have tried to get working with my current environment with VS Code and an extension with C-Line or Klein. I can't get the latest Anthropic Claude 5 models. None of them will work. I can only get 4.8 Opus working with that, which is very expensive in itself. Can imagine what the 5 models are at, what they cost. I've also tried a few other models as well. Just so you know, if you want to get my latest stuff, go to my newer website, theorderbookedge.com. That's where I post notes on that. It's a Substack Substack publication. That's where all my latest stuff goes. It's easy and quick. I've tried Meta. I've tried the Meta Muse Spark I've tried. Doesn't do a whole lot, has potential. Doesn't work with VS Code. I've tried the latest from Thingamachines, Inkling, same thing, has potential. Seems to be supposed to be fairly cheap. And then the one I also tried was Grok 4.5. That was a complete disaster. The coding in C++ is older school, like before C++ 20. Compiler, it's all really low level, and it just messes up your environment and your coding format when you're using C++ 20. So I just reverted and bailed on that model as well. So I'm just going to go through what we're here to learn, and then I'll just take questions in the next probably 10 minutes. Okay, so let's talk about the ultra low latency infrastructure. So you would think that the C++ WebSockets are good. They're not. This is 1 mega application now, okay? There's a lot going on, and just the last half of today is working with crashes on the app, so there's a lot of multi-threading problems. So Thankfully, both the Kimi K3 and Claude can resolve it on the fly. Takes a while, very expensive. That's the hard part. Everything's working against the Rhythmic server. So there's a Python one, and internally there's also a C++ one. So that still operates as a gateway, so I can take multiple bot connections if it's a strategy or if it's an analytical thing, calling the same Rhythmic gateway, because there's only one gateway allowed per Rhythmic account. So this is how I had to design it. There are now what we call a bot fleet set of management. I've said earlier we have 3,600. Up to now that says 2,200. These are all dynamically generated. I do have a competence score for everything using all the popular portfolio metrics. The better the competence score, the better. I show that in that long form video on Friday. Also, that's a lot of management there within this app, but I'm going to pare that down. I could probably go on about that afterwards. The other thing is forensics on the AI reports. I have multiple layers that I use in AI to validate if the backtesting, because it's done internally with live data of up to 2 years for our data. You have to backtest that and make sure it's done properly, because there's a lot of optimism in these results. But again, it's using real world data. There's no simulation whatsoever. Also, the live code inspection, generally I'm finding they will work self-contained as a C++. These are in Windows and they can individually run against the server. So that's all fully decoupled if I want, but they really are built to run internally in this mega app, because it gets really wonky to run multiple sessions. If I'm doing everything in PowerShell or whatever, so I'm just doing it in one exe. So there's that. I've also talked about the 400 institutional trading rules that I have from my advanced futures and options course that I put out 2 years ago. That's now being applied, which is now the Gen 2 bots, and they seem to be outperforming the original Generation 1 bots as well. So that's big news. So those are institutional level. I'm still going through the bot generation for this big app in C++. I am asking it for ultra low latency as best as it can, quant professional level. So the coding's really good. All the code seems to be fairly optimal in C++, and it's working. That's the amazing thing. Anyways, let's start taking questions. If you got questions or comments, let me know. And I can definitely answer anything about this or anything about my experiences on this. And I will say I'm getting pretty confident with the AI generation, as the kids used to call them, vibe coding. Most of it's been using Kimi K3. Without that, I don't this application would be costing me thousands of dollars to create. So all my fees now are going up because of it to support those costs. This is not small potato stuff. Okay, this is real institutional futures on options, futures. It's all bid and ask. So it's very valuable to somebody for sure. And having the capability to develop Python and C++ is a big deal, I think. The other thing is I put up a survey on my YouTube. If you go into my posts on the Quant Labs channel, I do have a survey running right now, looking to see how much people are willing to pay for these bots with source code for either Python or C++. They're all equivalent. The idea here is to have you generate your own server so that you can use these bots with the code if it's in Python or C++, and you just generate it via advanced prompting, and then they should run together against a server, whatever your broker is, and you could run multiple of these bots against your server. So that's what these bots that I might start selling as a membership monthly as part of that. Okay, so we have Gen123 Abel. Hello. If you guys got questions or comments, just let me know. We've got lots of them. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm just quite surprised there's not a lot of responses on that survey. Usually if something that says right out of the gate, if it's popular or will be popular, there'd be a lot of responses. The fees will be anywhere from $30 a month, $47 a month, all the way up to $500 a month. It just depends upon if it's Python only, C++ plus Python. I'm also able to generate bots for people, custom bots and the like. So if you guys got questions, comments, let me know. So this is probably the first time of that type of service. One of my posts I put up on my blog, these are workable, deployable bots. These are fully transparent because you got the source code. It's not like open source where you just download it off of GitHub. Like you actually pay for it, but they do work. Along with the HFT code packages I have for interactive brokers, these bots strategies, C++ or Python will definitely work with interactive brokers. They're really designed for Rhythmic because, as I said before, the interactive brokers, a lot of problems with data, namely in the futures and option space. If you're doing interactive brokers for equity, it's all fine and good. For ETFs, stocks, it's fine. Even somewhat limited crypto and retail forex is all fine. But if you're trying to do futures and options, you have to go through a legitimate futures broker with an FCM behind it. Also, the other thing is the two data providers are going to be usually Rhythmic or CQG, but if you want to go the more affordable way, go with Rhythmic. Rhythmic's awesome. Once you can get past the documentation for the API access, once you get it working, you have something built that will work with something like these type of bots, it's pretty impressive. But it's a lot. You would have to be prepared to spend a couple of thousand, probably at least 1,000, 1,500 to get something working. To do this on your own because it's not easy work because you have to get the docs for whatever API you want and so on and so forth. So there's that. So if you guys got questions or comments, I could go all night on my own just talking about this. I'm just waiting for comments if anyone's got them. I also, just so people know, I have looked at what can I do with this stuff. There's a lot I can do. I've looked at, let's first define what high frequency trading is. As I said last week, basically it's when you are starting to trade in either, let's say, any of the data centers that CME or New York Stock Exchange runs, and you're in those data centers, not going through another third-party broker, and you're co-located within those data centers, you're pretty well direct market access, which means you're now capable of doing true, real high frequency trading. As I said, if you're doing it through interactive brokers, that's not high frequency trading. But for CME, if you're in Aurora, Illinois, you get in that data center, I figured the costs are going to be about, from what the AI told me, about $15K a month for all the hardware, data feeds, and licensing, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, you're looking at about 15,000. I did ask it how much would you need to really get a go of it. It said that you would need about a minimum $250,000, just bare bone amount to really do high frequency trading, and you definitely need to have more, like $500,000, probably a full million to do it if you want to go real high frequency trading in these type of warehouses like the Aurora, and at the same time have a really good profitable strategy that pretty well wins all the time. So that can be done. You can do ultra low latency C++ with stripped down kernel on Linux kernel. You could also do it with FPGA as another option. So this is all, and it did say you are competing against all of the other big firms in that same data center. We're talking Citadel, we're talking Rentec. So you're up against these same firms in the same data center, and you're going to have the same competition to get front of the line on the axis. And what's the big juicy part of that? This is the Globex matching engine. So that's the pricing engine that CME uses to get in the quotes and then get the strategies of all these different participants in the market as I said, Citadel is one. Competing against those pricing, trying to get the highest priority in the matching engine to be able to execute before everybody else. So you have to have very, very lean and optimal tech to be able to accomplish this in against these firms, and they're, multi-million, probably multi-billion-dollar investment in technology and wherewithal to really accomplish this. So that's your prime competition when you're in these kind of data warehouses. What else can I say? Yeah, so I have looked at it. Not saying it can't be done, but for me, I just want to focus just more on the high speed stuff in C++. As I said, I'm waiting for questions. If you got questions, comments, let me know. I will tell you the difference in speed between Python and C++ is startling. If you've seen my video I put out on Friday, you can see the feed is very fast. It's like big time noticeable difference between the Python and the C++. As an example, the process I used to use in Python were to gather all the news, build out all the sentiment, and build out all the strategies and all the AI stuff out of that. That would take over an hour and a half to 2 hours to complete. In the first phase, the first phase would take at least 45 minutes. So now in C++, it takes less than 10 seconds to accomplish the same. It's huge difference. And that's also using optimal generated code as well, with both the latest from Claude and Kimi as well. So there's that. So Gem12345 Abel asks, take us through the development process, the engine, please. Okay, so as I said, I guess for newbies listening, how it works is basically, in the olden days with the Python, I would have a variety of scripts that turn into basically phases. The first phase would capture data, news feeds, 30 sources. Out of that, it would gather, and then the second phase would be to gather all of the data, news, generate using AI all the quantifiable strategies that come out of the news feeds. It would measure using market data for liquidity purposes and so on. So it would generate all these different models based upon that batch of news. From there, then it would start to generate the first generation of trading bots. It's all done in Python. From there, it would generate anywhere from 10 to 20 trading bots, we call them, strategies, and they're self-contained running. Out of that, these are trading bots that are, as I say, self-containable, that can run. And I have multiple of them running against a server, which again is written in Python, and that server will handle multiple clients of these trading bots. And then that server will be a gateway to be used as a one-to-one connection into Rhythmic. Because with Rhythmic, you can only have one connection running per account. So that's the same equivalent of TWS, Trader Workstation on interactive brokers, where you have one piece of software that's your interface to interactive brokers. So you can only have that one connection per account. So it's the same thing with Rhythmic. So that Python gateway handles all these multiple different trading bots. So those trading bots are kind of ready to go, but that's not true because there's a lot more to do. So out of that, what will happen is it will run, and as I said, I have a collection now of over 3,600 bots, and it'll go through each and every one of them, downloads the appropriate market data, and then it will backtest that all of these different trading bots against each other. And it's 4-hour data, 4 hours time frame, 2 years tested, and they all get ranked. And they're all ranked upon portfolio performance. And then out of that, we have a mega, a huge spreadsheet, and then a PDF gets built to showcase like equivalent of a tear sheet for that strategy. That can be like 800-900 pages. As I said, a lot of those trading bots are kind of useless, but maybe 10% are kind of deployable, 1% might be useful. So those get tested, ranked, and then what happens is I do another And that's also included as part of the back testing because we have futures and then futures and options, okay? And there's the different directions, which it could be long only, long short, or short only. And those are just futures. Now, the other thing is it has to download, this is the valuable part, the extremely valuable part, is it will go in, if there's an option strategy, what it will do is it will download the option chain for that instrument. So if it's ES, S&P 500, CL, oil, GC for gold, it will then go through testing and probing what are the available option chains available. So it will do all its metrics, and then it will pick a option chain that looks doable to work with, and it basically becomes a snapshot of the most optimal option chain. So on top of that, as part of the back testing, it will then do analysis on the option chain for the forward looking using Greek analysis, applied volatility, open interest, and all that. So that's part of the back testing as well. So there's that. And to add more fun to it, what makes it even more valuable, if you go into my quantlabsnet.com website, I've had a course, as I said, for two years now. It's now $5,000 to access it. It's institutional level, 30-day drip-fed content of how real futures and options work from an institutional perspective. So that I've got an AI that went through all that content to generate 400 rules and how institutions use these rules against trading ideas based upon, in this case, news and backtesting. So out of that, what it'll do is it institutionally create all these advantages and trading edges into a new trading set of bots, which I call Generation 2. So the Generation 2 can usually outperform the Generation 1 bots. So that's all done there. So that's all done in Python and 100% Python. And they can run live orders with everything in Python, fine. So that's the cycle and the complete pipeline of the whole thing. So now a bunch of it's now in C++, and what I just described, this whole cycle is now getting converted into C++. And I said the difference is in speed is from about hour and a half to 2 hours down to probably a few minutes now in C++. Like, it's startling, the difference in speed. And it's because the AI is optimally making it better and better in the coding on the C++. So there's that. So same question, how do you choose what trading algos to use? Yeah, that's the AI does that. So everything, as I said, is 100% AI, okay? So I'm using certain AI, let's say like DeepSeek, which is excellent for quant trading and formulas. Why? Because DeepSeek initially was a quant shop out of China. So they're very good at that. So if you use different AI to create different types of LLMs through the whole process that's optimally designed for the whole thing. So if I'm using, let's say, the latest Opus, which is great for coding, I'll apply the Opus coding for that. And as I said, now where we're at, we have Kimi K3, which seems to be pretty good, much cheaper. So I'm using now Kimi K3 to generate the C++ stuff. And it's doing a very nice job. So as it comes back to the what trading algos get chosen, it's basically this mega backtesting process is explained for both futures and or options. And out of that, it measures the portfolio metrics, like standard win ratio, Sharpe ratio, Sortino, drawdown, whole pile, about 6 metrics. And now that it'll measure out its own scoring from all those metrics. It'll come out with a grade, like A to F, and also a composite score of 1 to 100, where the higher is the better. I've shown that in a long form video actually on the Friday video to show that in the bot ranking. It's part of the C++. So there's that. So that's basically how it's all done with C++. And again, what you need to also understand is that every time I run this thing against news, it gets now, every time I do that, 10 to 20 new trading bots. So those fresh trading bots will always get measured compared to against the whole entire collection of all the bots, which is over, as I said, right now, 3,600. Like, I could probably have so-called 400 that are somewhat profitable. And then out of that, maybe 40 of them are very good ones for certain market conditions. Now, they trade everything, like gold, oil, natural gas, treasury, some are do agriculture, crypto, all the market indices as well. So they cover everything. Just depends upon what I want to trade based upon my account and the margin requirement, blah, 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 all that stuff. So it's 100% AI that does all that. That's how it's picked. Hopefully I'll answer your questions so far, Mr. or Mrs. Gen1234 Abel. So if you guys or ladies have questions, let me know. That's what I'm here for. I'm still going through the weeds of this C++ next version of this application to handle all the analytics that I used to run in Python and be able to do it in C++, all in a self-contained app. So was also kind of working on a side application as well for charting. I'm telling you, man, everything's so powerful with this Kimi K3. Came up with a really neat application, but because everything's so tight in the spreads and the pricing, you don't see much discrepancy on the pricing at all in this app. So and it does all the standard technical analysis indicators. And just so people know what I'm using for C++, I'm using IMGUI, IMGUI, IMGUI and plot GUI for this, or is it? No, sorry, IMGUI and IMplot. So those are the libraries I'm using to generate all this stuff, and it works like, believe me, it blows your mind on the capabilities of what K3 can do and how relatively cheap it is compared to Claude. So I'm really like impressed by that. If you guys have any further questions or comments, let me know. Yeah, now I won't be releasing this because, as I keep saying, I don't want to get in a support game. That would be just a complete. I'd rather have a service, as I said earlier, to either sell the bots, sell the analysis, which I'm doing with the new website. As I said, the new website, which is Substack, is the Alpha Edge. Sorry, let me start like the orderbookedge.com. Again, the orderbookedge.com. So I have that in place. When I run the algos, which I put one up on Friday or Saturday, and basically what it does, it just analyzes the bid and ask spread for a few hours. You can get so much juicy information out of that, and a report's built out of that again with AI, and that's posted into the Substack, the new website, because that's very valuable. Also, what I can do is I can generate pseudocode to help people build trading bots. Covers everything in a trading bot. As I said, I can sell the bots themselves. It's a C++ or Python. They seem to work, so I can do that, and I have different options. I'm maybe marketing, I don't know, business to business with other trading firms that might be interested in this sort of thing. I've talked to a few. There's a huge demand for it. I don't know what they're willing to pay. Talk as cheap as I say. So I don't know where it'll go. But it's very valuable because there's a couple of reasons. There's the option chain generation. That's very valuable on top of the 400 trading rules that get applied to these trading bots that, as I said, make them generation 2. And these are institutional level trading bots, if you saw them. They're very unique. as well. And as I said, if I apply that using DeepSeek, I can imagine what kind of strategies come out of that. They're all custom coded for that market condition. Anybody else got any questions? One thing I also want to do is basically have, I guess it would be an agent. I know when agents run, they're very expensive because they're leveraging off of the Claude or the OpenAI. That's where they're hoping to make their money. So when you run an agent, you're going to be running in real time OpenAI models or Anthropic Claude models all the time. That's where they're hoping to make their cash. Now, there are other ways to get around that. You could use a cheaper Chinese AI model to do that, but still, you're going to pay a lot of money. You're probably going into the thousands per month if you decide to do that. But what the AI would do, it would analyze the market conditions for those strats, and then re-implement new trading strategies to adjust to those market conditions. It can be done in real time pretty well. Hello, Navido 9622. The daily P&L on average has not been tested because everything's in creation right now. It's hard to say. I'm hoping it'll obviously my goal is to generate real alpha. That's what will hopefully make this valuable. Part of my goal with all this is basically to make the track record of the real time trading be third party verified. Oh yeah, I've made money on trading for sure. Navido 9622. Yeah, I've made money trading, but you know, I you know, right now in the market conditions is pretty tough. I'm making maybe with the portfolio I got, and again, portfolio managers are running that. How they do it, maybe 1 or 2%, not much this year, but I'm not losing money. That's for sure. I don't know if that's kind of what you're asking, but in terms of what I'm doing, trading, what I'm developing, that's pretty hard to do when I'm not nowhere close to finishing it. For futures and options, I have done what a year, no, 2 years ago I did stocks. It did okay, not great. I knew the day would be coming where we're at today in the market conditions, where if you're just trading stocks, you could probably be really challenged, and this year is it. So that's why 2 years ago I made the shift over into futures and options. So I'm kind of glad I've done because there's a lot of opportunity out there. So let's say if the markets go down badly, trade VIX. VIX can be up to 7, 8% or 15% on a bad day. So you will not get that in, well, you can get it in an ETF, but you won't get the added leverage that you can get with options. So Navido 9622 asks, I am a manual trader myself in a trading firm, so I'm very interested in what the algos guys are doing. A lot of my work is also finding specific patterns and getting it to a strategy automate. I got bad news for anybody that does this, and even in coding. I think with how I've been playing with Kimi, K3, I think we as coders, we as technicians, we as IT professionals, we're done. Like our career paths are pretty well ended. And our career paths are pretty well zero value, unless you're doing this for yourself. I say that because it's quite simple. 2 days ago, Sam Altman made a comment when he was asked if the singularity is here. He said, yes, it is. Today, on the Moonshot interview, I haven't watched the full one yet, but with Elon Musk, he said the same thing. We're definitely now in the great singularity. So my question is, we as people coming out of the old traditional, I have a job, I have a career world, specifically in technology, the AI can do it probably 500 times faster, 500 times smarter, and at a point where it's probably zero errors. So how does a human compete against that? You can't. As a human, you can't compete against it, but what you can do is you manage the process. And that's what I've said before. Navide, same person said, yeah, it is very easy to automate strategies. I think approximately takes about 4 to 5 hours from an idea to implementation via the new AI models. I don't know when you join, but as I said, I can now, I don't know yet, but I think within 2 minutes I can run the whole thing, as I said before, through the whole cycle of news to trading bots with the Gen 2, 400 trading rules. I wouldn't be surprised that this app I'm working on can do it within 5 minutes. And that can generate 12, 15 bots with the back testing against a lot of other bots as well. So I think we're already there. And as I said, it can generate just in a few minutes, generate probably a few minutes. Nobody can compare against that as a human. So again, I'm not here to be doom and gloomer. I probably am. But at the end of the day, I think I'm not going to lie either. That's important to know. So there's that. But what happens to all these quant jobs and all these high frequency training coding jobs and whatever else? Well, as I said before, I think all the coders, all the researchers, all of that is pretty well replaced by AI. And the only thing that will stay in place are the portfolio managers. And more importantly, the systematic portfolio managers who are managing multiple portfolios. I think those are the only jobs going to be still running and still around. They'll be very competitive to get, but if you're really good at it, you'll be well paid for it. So all the other types of jobs, I don't see it happening. But it doesn't mean that you as the solo quant or the independent trading quant, you could do this as well. And that's where I'm at now with what I'm building. So there's opportunity there. Don't be down and out because the opportunity is there to happen. That's the good news, right? That you can do this on your own. You have to be, if you want to make money, you got to be profitable. Unfortunately, it's a sink or swim situation, obviously. So Navito says, I trade in energy markets, so it can be a bit risky. We need a lot of architecture and checking when implementing strategy. Yes, you do. But as I said, with what I'm building out, it's kind of already kind of done because it's using 2 years of real market data, especially for the last 2 years that you're seeing. Just this year alone, it's pretty well all the typical market conditions possible in such very short regime changes because of who I call the gerbil mind, president of the United States, and who's so erratic. One day it's up, next day it's down, based upon what he's thinking. So because of that, makes the markets very unstable. So generally, for the next few years, I think, and a lot of people are saying the same, markets will go sideways for a long time. So the only type of strategies that may work are mean reverting strategies. So, you know, that's kind of what the focus will probably be on to survive in this. And I have generated some mean reverting NASDAQ strategies, and I believe I have one or two Bitcoin and Ethereum strategies as well. Those are just built based upon market conditions of the day. So I ask, but you also need to know that there is a big problem in giving AI admin roles. They can potentially delete your whole Git and make you bankrupt. I don't think the software rule is going to be wasted. Well, it depends upon if you're coming in as I'll call them a script kiddie that knows nothing about coding, know nothing about architecture, and more importantly, knowing how to work with debugging. People that are coming in without that, probably years of knowledge, are going to get crushed because they don't know how to do all these things that you're mentioning. First of all, I don't use GitHub. I don't use any GitHub for what you just said for security reasons. And more importantly, with the Git thing about deleting things and going bankrupt, I don't know where you're getting that information from, but that's probably from somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. Because, yeah, it's possible. but you can think you could build guardrails in your live trading. You can't, because I can tell you right now, going through something like C++, I dealt with probably 5 different scenarios on why this application is crashing. Unless you know how to prompt and the AI, you're using a cheap AI, you're not going to get a solution. But I've gone through multiple conditions of crashing of the same app, and the app's able to fix it. But you got to spend money. I've probably spent $300 alone in the last 2-3 days to fix these kind of problems. So there's no cheap solution here. And if you don't get it right, yeah, you will lose money. There's no doubt. No, I disagree. I would never give the AI rule to administrate $100 million. I wouldn't either, but we're talking about small retail accounts. It can help me out, but I'll never get other than slave rules. Yeah, you could do that. What I would do in that regard to scale up, what you do is you just start small, like tiny, like amounts that you can risk to lose. And as you start to get more confident in the process, get more confident in what's being built, what's being live traded, and then you get, oh, I'm good at this. I can generate real alpha from it. Then you start to scale up. So meaning you go from one size contract, maybe two, add in some options, maybe have a 5 contracts, and just keep scaling up as long as that profit is consistent and build up that way. But if you're going to go in like wild hogging it, like in poker, yeah, you will get blown out. So you have to easily scale in. It could take a couple of years. I don't know. But if you consistently get profitable and more confident with it, and as time passes, AI gets much more sophisticated and it gets cheaper. We're at a point now where AI is like a commodity, thanks to Kimi K3 and Quen 3.8 that just came out, and that's why the markets are getting killed, because the market value of these big firms out of the U.S. are getting killed off. So there's that to consider. So AI will get more sophisticated and it will get cheaper, especially if it's being developed out of China. Small retail accounts, so who's this likely a hobby? I would consider this a hobby. I think this is like for people that want to earn 1%, 2% a day, and maybe build up an account. Let's say a $10,000 account, and are happy to get $200 a day, $100 a day, and build from there. The wealth management I've been seeing is basically you have 2 types. You have a wealth management account. This is where you can work from, building out with algos and AI in a trading account and building your wealth there. And then to exist, you have your basic other account, wherever it's coming from or income, to exist. So that's kind of how it seems to work. I've been doing it for a while, and I know many people who are as well. So I mean, for you, Nate Navido, I think if you're coming in from a large institution running, I don't know, a couple $100 million trading portfolios, it's a mind shift to come back down to the retail level, or smaller account level. But yeah, it can be done, and you start and scale into it very small. Like it might not be today and tomorrow where you're instantly rags to riches, no, but it can take a couple of months. And as you get better specifically in options, you can definitely build out and ask any real decent options trader. They can build a $10,000 account to $200,000 account in a matter of months if they're really good at it. I mean, that's not anything unknown. Lots of people do it. Anybody else got questions, including you, Navido, or a previous person? These are good questions. I like to be challenged as well, but you have to be realistic. You can't turn around and say, well, I'm going to have this system, like this magical system that will just go from this and, $100 million in 2 days. Doesn't work. So no, to answer your other question, Navido 9622, this is not a hobby. I take this very seriously. Just so you know, I'm getting now on Instagram thousands of views on Instagram per video that I put out. So I am taking it very seriously now. because somebody at Meta sees it and exposes that video and it builds. So there's a lot of people interested, but it's not easy. You got to work hard, be very, very innovative. But the potential's there for sure. Especially if you saw the software I'm developing, done in 3-4 days, and I'm now adding a major piece to it, and I've only been at it for 2 days. Okay, and the total cost to where I'm at, maybe $500 to do this hand coding, would take me with a team probably a good number of months, maybe a full year to debug it as well. So AI helps in this regard, for sure. That's why I think the skills are not that valuable as a hand coder. Same with a trader. Same with anybody in this field. It's radically changing, and people are getting taken out because of it. Talk to people that get laid off quite a bit, and not much I can do. This is kind of like the only path they have unless they want to be a manual trader. But it's hard to do when you got crazy, negative, unpredictable volatility out there. Very difficult. I watched one guy, a high-profile guy, Hugh Henry, go on about IBM. Oh, it's going to do this, that, and the next day, and 3 days later, the IBM stock tanks. Or SpaceX is another great example. Yeah, it's risky business. And you got to be very careful here. So anybody else got any questions or comments at all? So I've covered kind of everything, basically on the system. I walked through the cycle of how everything's been working. I think with this big mega app I'm working on now, we'll handle everything. The only worry I have is the number of threading in it, because there's so much going on within it. They collide with one process another, and it just crashes and it just ends. So I have to try to figure out through debugging it with AI to make this bulletproof, and it will as I test it more and more. Anybody else got any questions or comments? Lots of people wanted to have the opportunity. As I said before, this is going to be my only opportunity on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. to talk live here and ask questions, because I have to protect my time, as I always say. So hopefully people respect that. Other people don't. Oh, that's fine too, then. Whatever. Anybody else got questions or comments? So I've covered all the major topics that I've talked about in the coding and what you'll learn, minus the demos. I could do demos down the road. I really don't know if that's worthwhile for people, especially the doom scrollers. They don't value what's generated. But the other hand, what I have to do is get that verifiable track record. I think that changes the game. Aaron Sharma, how are you, my man? Well done. Sounds like some major inroads. Yes, it is. I know you've been part of this for a long process, a couple of years actually. What I will say that you're used to with Python, the Python's for people that are new to coding or not a solid programmer, but the benefits I'm seeing now with C++, I'm just blown away on where things are at in terms of speed. I'll know once this process is completed, but to take a process that would take, I don't know, hour and a half, 2 hours to run in Python, as I said earlier, the phase one of it would take about 45 minutes to run. It takes no more than 5 seconds to run it. It's mind blowing where it's at. So I'll probably do a video on it, long form, just so people can see it. It's, to me, it's impressive because I have both equivalent of a Python bot, and when I transpile it in C++, I can do that and have it run against the internal Rhythmic gateway servers, I'll call it. And I could build it for interactive brokers. As I said before, it's not worth it. It just slows everything down. Anybody else got any comments or questions? Let me know. Yeah, just so people know, I can't talk to people just out of the blue anymore. I took a live session yesterday. It turned out to be a pretty surprising thing. I don't think they'll hear from me again, but what happened was people represent themselves that are living, we'll just say, not in the West. Uh, and I normally don't, that's normal, but what happened was talking, red flags going up live. I was ending up talking to scammers, like with a history, lawsuits, with the New York prosecution, New York State, $60 million lawsuit, scammers that I directly talked to for an hour. I don't want to talk to people like that. So if you're going to be talking to me, you're going to be qualified. You'll have to go through a qualification. People don't understand that. That's okay. I don't need to talk to you. I got paid advertising. When are you ready and become a rich man? That's a good question, Aaron. I've been at it for a long time. I mean, I do see the potential of it, obviously. The thing is really, I think for just general, people need to take action on stuff. I think we're at a point now with the way the economy's going and the competition, the AI displacing. We have to take action now. Talk is cheap, as I say. So you got to take action. So that's what I'm doing now with the C++. Taking action. I'm ready to deploy live capital at this thing. I've got uh, probably 10,000 US, pretty close to it, ready to deploy. And I'll start small, as I said earlier, with one contract here, one contract there, and just minimal. Everything's going to be micro futures, not full, not mini, micro. Micro oil, micro ES, micro gold, and just start small and then grow from there. And as time hopefully becomes profitable, where you're able to, in this case, with the markets the way they are, losing money, but yet you're able to generate a profit. I mean, to generate alpha, I'm hoping it shouldn't be that difficult, and then be able to verify that with a verified account. That'd be awesome. Anybody else got any questions? So I can talk about that for a minute. Right now, all my C++, I originally said last week, I did think with the AI telling me I did not need to use the Rhythmic Trader R Pro to connect into, like the Interactive Brokers Trader Trade Workstation. The the general consensus is yes, C++ with the Rhythmic C++ API for Windows, you will need to connect into the Rhythmic Trader R Pro software. There's no ins or outs about that. With Python, it's different because with the Python API or the JavaScript API, it's all the same. You don't need the software. That's what I liked about it. And that can also run on Linux. That's the only option you have to run in Linux. So with the way it's currently set up, as I said earlier, this mega app, we'll call it, trading app, whatever we call it, is going to be only built for Windows. Okay, and the only reason is, as I said earlier, it's forced with the Rhythmic to connect into the software and only on Windows. So there's that. Also, because I'm connecting into the software, I get the market data, and when I execute trades and orders, it gets put through the software. So the nice thing is, this is the good thing, is with that, and then apparently I have found a very good software journaling website, we'll call it, called kinfo.com. I think I've talked about it before. All the other ones are to be questioned, okay? But this one's very good, and apparently the most reputable one. It's called kinfo.com. They do support Rhythmic as is, using the software. Because of that, that will connect directly into the account in the log software, I guess, and publicize my report, my portfolio as a trade. And that will hang off of their servers website. So that's going to bring in that credibility. And as I said earlier, once I can get that up and running, and it's a very good website as well. Kinfo is very good. You have leaderboards against other people, and for different types of assets as well, obviously. And then you can showcase that to people. And then with that, That's when you start charging the 500, probably 1,000 per month for whatever, because you have that credibility, which no one else uses. It's not like some other crappy software journaling website. It's real, and it's got a good reputation as well. That's the whole point of that. I keep blabbing. If you guys got comments or questions, let me know. I don't mind going, but rambling on here. But I do want to get back to this debugging and building out this new mega app so I can put out a new video. I think this will take a couple of days. I thought it'd take a couple of hours. It's never the case. As I said, it is, for me, it's an expensive process. But on the other hand, to hand code this, let's say with a team of coders, this would cost me well into hundreds of thousands of dollars. This is not meant to be a retail platform. This is not meant to be sold. I use it for myself and only myself. But I just want to showcase, hopefully once everything's built out, like I did on the Friday video, to showcase the capabilities of what can be built as well. So if you got questions or comments, let me know. If not, I can, coming up to an hour, that's cool. And then I'll give it a wrap on this session. I'll be back on next Tuesday. Just so everybody knows, I will not be doing these for September and early October. I am going to be traveling in Europe for a month or so, around there. It's all planned out. I'll have the exact dates, but that's the plan of action. I'll be still building stuff and doing stuff while I'm traveling, but the streams I just don't see myself doing as well. Aaron's got questions again. Using Rhythmic level 2 data and news data, you should be able to gauge institutional moves. Will you publish backtests on Substack or one of the group sites? Yeah, I already do that. If you look at it, it's called Trader Report, but it may change. Thanks. Enjoy the trip. Thank you. It's currently done under Python. So as I've shown before, it can show what all the different types of participants are doing, be it CTAs, consumers, producers, market makers, hedge funds. And sometimes they'll tell you the exact firm, what they're buying, if it's a put and call in the quantity. So yeah, you get to see that. I know it can be done. I'll probably try to rebuild that in the new C++ version, because I think that's very important information. So that'll get posted as a separate PDF or some kind of file that is accessible in one of the, the whole new order, the new Substack website is built for that, and the current website as well. Of course, C++ is just the language. Yeah, C++. Everything's being built in C++ now. I think it's going to be much better. As I said earlier, with the capability to build out like an agent equivalent to be able to watch the open positions as the strategy or bots run. And as the market data does this or do that on the bid and ask level, and then have the strategy readjust or because you can do that on the fly. I did check. I didn't know this, but if you look at OpenAI and Google search OpenAI real-time bot models, this is what we're talking about. These are like MCP, RAG applications where it's leveraging the AI live as it's running. I'm hoping to build some kind of algo that does all that for you. Just being able to convert from Python to C++ on the fly, which is a very difficult job. I can do it now in C++ and in Python. So I don't see why you can't do what I just said with AI. I mean, you got to spend the money, get it built out, but I don't see why you can't do it. Any other questions or comments? It's very exciting times where we're at, especially with AI. Smart people will harness the power of AI and build something so they can either earn money for themselves or build out online businesses. Yeah, there's a lot of AI slop out there. But believe me, man, I can probably assure you a lot of the big firms, trading firms, are using AI now as part of their trading infrastructure. So, like, what are you telling me that they build an AI slop as well? I just think people who use that term are just angry and are Luddites that don't like the notion that AI can, hate to say it, to displace them. And they just get angry at it. And all they do is just say you're lazy and you're using AI. Sure. But there are those small percentage will take advantage of it, know how to harness it for themselves. And right now, the best time to make money is using things like AI. Because as I said, and launching online businesses. As I said, I saw a report last week on the number of millionaires created in U.S. It's on record. Highest number of millionaires created in such a very short period of time. Created on record. So there you go. And then there's the masses saying can't find a job, don't know what to do. Well, there you go. If you know how to harness things like AI and build a tech for you. And people are learning how to code as well. It's quite shocking, especially in Python. That's why I've launched those two little packages on hftcode.com to help people. People ask me, where do I go to start learning? Go there. And that, just so you know, those prices are going to go up because that's what the AI says, the value of it. Because I'll be advertising on Meta, and the way I'm performing on Meta, namely Instagram, I should do hopefully quite well on Meta advertising. So I'll reach the exact target market I want through that. So we'll see what happens. Any other questions or comments? I know I'm rambling on all over the place. It's usually what I do, but I'll gladly answer if you got any comments or questions. Because we're coming up to just over an hour. I don't mind stopping it now. So if you got a question or comment, please type away. But I'll do the usual countdown of going once, twice, and all that. Once we hit the 3, we're done. So I'll let people have the opportunity to type up whatever they want. That's fine. The thing is, I'm sure I'll get a lot of hate mail or trolling or whatever. The trolls have not appeared lately. I don't know why. Last 6 months, which is good. And what's said doesn't bother me because I'm proving to myself the capabilities of what's being built in a very short period of time. So all these people can argue all they want. It's just, I hate to tell you, it's a fallacy what comes out of them. Okay, so if you got questions or comments, let me know on any of this stuff. I'll gladly do a countdown. So we'll do it going once. I'll do it going 1,000. If you got something to type up, please let me know. As I keep saying, if you got a letter, just let me know. I do know there's a synchronization delay between me and YouTube, but let me know if you got something. Just give me some kind of hint that you want to type something before I accidentally delete it. Just so people know, we've got now 3 sites in motion. We have quantlabsnet.com, which I've been running for a couple of years now. I have the coding base one, hftcode.com. I said I might sell the trading bots or what do you want, self-contained C++ and Python on there as a subscription. We've got the other website, the newer one that just launched a couple of weeks ago, the orderbookedge.com, which is kind of Substack. So those are all the 3 sites that I'm running. If you got questions on current memberships, I know who I'm hinting at. It's kind of here. Just get in touch with me. I'll hook you up wherever you need, as promised from years ago. And no problem there. So if you got any questions or comments, type away. Okay. I'll do a going 1,000. I'll continue from there. So if you got something to type, please just signify. You want to type something so I know that you're there and you want to comment on something. Going 2,000. And as I keep saying, if we do end it, I will have a long form video of all the new features of this mega app I just did on on Friday. It's really good. It's going to be pretty impressive. Going 2.5, because once we hit 3,000, we're done. So type away, please, please type away. I don't know if people do. Oh, Aaron, sure, sure, sure. Ask a question. Thank you, Aaron. I think you got so many ways to make money coming your way. Get some rest on the holiday, and we look forward to this journey with you. Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm very excited to where things are going. I could go into consulting. I don't know. Again, what I've already like the newsletter on Substack. I've got the current stuff with the quantlabsnet.com, and then HFT code. As I said, with the survey that's running right now in the community post. Give me an answer on what you're willing to pay. The tier descriptions there, from was it $30 all the way up to 500. What you'd get, being C++ or or Python combination, customization, blah 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 blah. So let's start over again just to make sure. If you got something to type up, let me know. Going once, going 1,000. Going 2,000. Going 2,500. Going 2,750. Type something. Please, 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 please. Going 1,200, 800. Going 2,000, 2,900. I guess we're done. Going 3,000. So thank you very much for joining. I'll be back on Tuesday. I could do demos, but just the social media prefers the full me face. But I may do a long form video demonstrating this. I may do a private Zoom session, full on Q&A like this, but with the computer set up with the demo of the software. I may do that, but if you want to get notified, make sure. If you do join, go to quantlabsnet.com. Okay? Make sure, by law, you click on subscribe that you're interested in all this stuff. Little checkbox there. Without that, you don't get nothing from me. And then I'll start pushing out stuff over time. So if that Zoom session does happen, I can do more of them as well. You got to be on the newsletter. Not just be on the newsletter, but you got to be opening stuff as the email gets sent out. Maybe even engaging by clicking on buttons. It's all sophisticated as it builds up. I've got 4,000, 5,000 people on an email list, but I had to pare it down right now to 3,000, and active is about 300 people. So if you want to continue getting those kind of emails and notifications from me, you have to be on the email list, because I get questions on social media and I can't respond at all. Anyways, I guess we're done on that. So thank you very much. Give you the latest sites that I got running. And if you miss anything, just watch this video once it's rendered. Alrighty, have a good night. Bye bye. See you wherever you're at. Bye bye. Bye.